few minutes with me. As was mentioned, I'm running against Pete Stark, who many of you know. He's been in office since the year I was born. I'm also running against a gentleman named Forrest Baker, who is running as a Republican candidate, but he's written a 543-page book on how he'd like to put us all in communes, and that just doesn't fly in the land that I love. Sorry. But what I want to do today is take a little bit different tact. I want to talk to you about a day that I spent on stage with Rick Tubbs, who was just up before the Celestial Singers, about a month ago. In the morning, I started out talking to a group of black pastors. In the evening, I ended up at the Hells Angels Clubhouse talking to 50 motorcycle clubs from around the state. And people might ask themselves, what would those two groups have in common? And the reality is that they have the same things in common that you and I have today here. They were all upset about the loss of their individual liberties. They were upset about uneven application of law to their community. They were upset about the idea that they were discriminated against because of their outward appearance to others. And they were upset because they felt like the country was being lost and they needed to stand up and do something, but they felt like they were alone. The reality is we all have a lot more in common than we allow ourselves to believe. And the challenge is that there are powers that be, as you've seen in the mass media lately and from the administration, that would have us believe that we need to stay divided. We need to be in class warfare, divide each other by class or by race or other issues. And the reality is that when we stand together, that is how we will take our country back. And we need to do that immediately. Now, it's important that we work together to get this election taken care of and get the right candidates into place. We can't stop fighting. We can't let outside forces divide us. Think about the Tea Party movement and where it was a year ago versus where it is now. At first, they marginalized us. And then, when that didn't work, we started to gain steam. What they decided to do was attack us. They called us bigots. They called us racists. They called us bullies and thugs. Now, I know who you are. You know who you are. We all know those were lies, right? Right. We are common Americans with a common love for our country, and we need to stand up, and we need to take it back, and we cannot let the outside forces divide us from that mission. What we need to do is get out and do the real research on the candidates, understand where they stand, and if they are indeed in alignment with our beliefs. We've seen what happens. The establishment is shaking in its boots right now because they've come to understand that the people are tired of their crap, to use the technical term, that we won't stand for it any longer, and that we will be taking our country back post-haste. November 2nd, the country belongs to America again. Now, what I would encourage you to do after you've done the research on your candidates, you may find people telling you that, no, you can't vote for who you like. You need to hold your nose and vote for the lesser of two evils. No. And my response to that is, you can only hold your nose so long before you pass out. Do your research, prepare ahead of time, look at the ballot, and then what you want to do is not waste your vote. And to me, a wasted vote is anybody who you wouldn't support over the long term of a 2-year or 4-year or 6-year term. You need to vote your conscience, vote your values, and not throw your vote away on someone who you don't want to see in office. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now, just to remind you, my name is Chris Pareja, and the reason that's important is that I'm running as a write-in. Originally, as an independent, what happened was, if I was a Democrat or Republican, I needed 40 signatures to get on the ballot. As an independent, they made me collect 9,260 just to keep it fair. We got 4,000 out of the 9,260, so to run it as a write-in, they made us go out and collect 40 signatures. So we did it. Now, if you're in the 13th district, you can go ahead and write anything from Chris P. to Chris Pareja. They'll have my name at the ballot. You can look up the way to spell it. Don't spell it Mickey Mouse or Goofy because that will not count for me, okay? But write in Chris Pareja for Congress. If you're outside the district, we accept prayers. Our website accepts MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and American Express. But we accept your support as well. Let people know about us on Facebook, on Twitter, and other places. This campaign is not invisible. We are getting it out there, and we're looking at raising funds for commercials that will start this week. Thank you very much for your time.